Hello everyone, welcome to This Day. It is Saturday, September 21st. I know you were probably expecting Michael to be sitting in this chair, but today I'm your co-host, Bree Cox Kennedy. I'm looking forward to Monday because Michael and I will be co-hosting a show together. But on today's show, we're going to be talking with Assemblywoman Diane Dixon. She's going to be talking to us about the possible closure of our local DMV. So really important information there. And then later in the show, we're going to be talking with Dean White from Caring Senior Service. So looking forward to both of those segments. First, though, we want to keep you informed. Orange County residents are urged to stay informed through the Orange County Fire Authority and enroll in Alert OC for timely updates while taking precautions against smoke exposure, especially those in high-risk groups. So please write down the information and the links on the screen so that you can follow for more information. Due to the smoke advisory, please limit outdoor activities and keep windows closed. Stay hydrated, especially if you have pre-existing health conditions. We're probably not out of the woods yet because our weather continues to stay elevated. We are looking at highs in the 80s on Sunday and Monday. Saturday will remain relatively nice and pleasant at 79, so please make sure to take those precautionary measures and protect yourself from those high temperatures. Next up on our sunrise sunset segment, oh my goodness, we have a little turtle. I wonder if that's a snapping turtle. I'm not sure. The sunrise this morning was at 6:38 a.m. and our sunset is at 6:49. If you'd like to send us your pictures to be featured on our Sunrise Sunset segment, please email those photos to lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. Please send us your name, where the photo was taken, and in a horizontal format, please. And then after the break, Assemblywoman Diane Dixon. Stay tuned.
Someone asked me recently, what is Thrive? Thrive is a group in the village that seeks to inspire quality living in every chapter of our lives. They asked, how do you do that? We bring people together and promote themes such as kindness, positivity, joyfulness, resilience, and mindfulness in a complex world as these behaviors enhance wellness and increase cognitive and physical health. Come thrive with us at our next event. Just RSVP by emailing us.
Usually you ask Assemblymember Diane Dixon to come talk about what's going on in Sacramento, but she's going to talk about what's going on right here in our old backyard today. I want to welcome Assemblymember Diane Dixon to our program, and we're going to be talking about the DMV today.
Everyone's favorite topic.
Everyone's favorite place to go, favorite place to talk about.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you. I always love coming to Laguna Woods. It's such a wonderful community, and everyone's engaged and knows the issues. My office tells me we have received more letters and phone calls about the DMV and their announced closure of the Laguna Hills office closing October 18th. I've been over there. There's signs everywhere. We are closing October 18th. So the residents, I'm speaking to the residents of Laguna Woods. This is what's going on, and I'm fighting for them, and we're going to do whatever we can to stop this.
And it seemed a little out of the blue, it seems like, how these decisions get made. Do you know yet how this decision to close this office came to be?
I'll tell you what the facts I've been told by the company that owns the current property is that they were looking for a new location for whatever reason. I did hear on the other news, on another news station, because of ADA. So I specifically was looking at that when I went to visit the Laguna Hills office. And I'm certainly welcome to hear from Laguna Woods residents if they felt that there's an ADA issue.
Right, that would be the Disabilities Act, that access in
yeah, the access. Right. They've got the bumps to get through the curb, and then the restrooms are ADA, and there's plenty of wide spaces. So I was really surprised to hear that. So they approached the DMV approached the city of Mission Viejo several months ago, I guess in August, with a site that they had considered in Mission Viejo. Surprisingly, Mission Viejo City Council did not approve that because it was too close to residential areas for the driving test and that type of thing. And that is a pretty standard. It's not, Mission Viejo was not really out of line on that.
Right.
I know other cities feel the same way. You don't want inexperienced drivers to be
going around to schools.
Yeah. So there's some parameters that are necessary. In speaking with the leaseholder or the property owner, when I made the visit to Laguna Hills office 2 weeks ago, he's looking at other comparable sites that could serve the people of this area, this part of South Orange County, and that's really the point that we want to make. Apparently 500,000 local residents visit this DMV site every year, and it's really important to serve this population, which is, especially as we know in Laguna Woods, over 80% of the people are over 65 years old. It is a DMV, like them or not, is an essential service. You need to go in there and get your eyes examined. You need to take the annual exam. You can do that now online, but it's a little, sometimes difficult to manage. I've taken it, and it takes a while to figure it out.
For seniors, there are some special requirements you have to kind of do that are above and beyond in terms of needing that DMV facility pretty close by.
Well, they have to take a driving test every year, I think it is. And so the aging population everywhere, it needs to physically visit a DMV site, and then the real ID requirement requires an in-person visit to DMV. So we need DMV. It's an essential service. So to relocate it outside of this immediate area, I call it like Southeast Orange County, is a real inconvenience, a physical inconvenience, and to force residents, 500,000 people, to go to San Clemente or Santa Ana.
Yeah, those are the two next door ones at least.
20 some miles away on a good day from a traffic standpoint, so that's not satisfactory.
Yeah. And the Santa Ana one, I've been to the Santa Ana one, I don't mean to disparage, but it's my least favorite. Let's just say that.
They're all very aged.
They're very tough. They're overwhelmed.
They are.
And to take away Laguna Hills would just be such a burden on both those locations.
You know, I've been to I go to the Costa Mesa one personally. You always park in the streets. There's not enough parking. The Laguna Hills facility, it's in a shopping center. Plenty of surface parking. I understand that the Mission Viejo site had a parking structure. I guess there are pros and cons about that. But Laguna Hills it's a 30-year-old facility. Does it need to be, I don't know, remodeled? Maybe Costa Mesa is 60 years. I think Santa Ana is 60 years old. It looked very functional to me. People were getting service, accommodated, taking their driver's test, a very well-mannered, well-organized operation. But to relocate it is going to be a problem.
Now, you're a signatory to a letter that was sent to the head of the DMV saying, please do not do this, let's reconsider. What have you heard, and who's in charge over there?
Well, my request specifically was let's have a sit-down meeting, and the signatories were colleagues on both sides of the aisle. My colleagues in the Assembly and the State Senate, Democrats and Republicans of Orange County, the delegation has come together and said, let's try to figure out what's going on. How can we help solve this problem? If it's a budgetary issue, which it could be, everything's now a budget issue in California because of the deficit. My understanding is DMV wasn't announcing any layoffs. They were just moving the same employees to San Clemente, which is a much smaller facility. We just want a meeting. We want to hear their side of the story. We don't know why they're doing this. I did not get a response from the letter to your question. I called about 7 days after the letter was sent, and because all these 7 or 8 or 9 legislators are saying, let's meet, and none of us got a response.
Wow.
So I did get into the executive director, the person I sent the letter to, his office, and he was out of town and this and that and back and forth. And we finally do have a Zoom call scheduled for September 30th.
Okay. They're cutting it close.
Yes,
Only a couple
October
weeks.
18th is D-Day. So we need to resolve this quickly for all of your listeners and viewers today. I'm fighting. Now, we do have a solution. Write to the governor, and I think your folks here will post that telephone number.
Yeah, and there's on the website. You can go on our website here, Laguna Woods Village's website, and there's actually where you can click and find all the links. Now, we don't need to bother you anymore. You're on there too, but we don't.
That's okay.
But you can to basically click to everybody, the DMV director, the governor, everybody, and just let them know that this is something that's important.
You know, as a general message, I tell people all the time, on this specifically, of course, always write to the governor, write to me. Your letters, your calls are documented. They're public record. We listen, we care. At least my office does. I have a great staff that's very responsive. And the governor will suddenly say, what's going on? And we need to make them aware, make the governor's office aware of what's going on.
Do you think it's important that when you shine a light on these things, sometimes these decisions that were maybe made just haphazardly can really maybe be re-examined and real change can happen?
I do think because a higher up, a higher authority, maybe the governor will say, now tell me why you're doing this. Does this make sense? To have 500,000 people go from this part of South Orange County to go over to San Clemente, does it really make sense? And is this the best solution? And there is a solution. In addition to action to write the governor, the current space the lease can be extended for another year at below market price. This is what they've told me, the property owner.
So if anything, at least, maybe the no decision for now, let's pause everything and keep this and while this gets sorted out.
That's the ask. Don't do anything. Explore other locations if you want to lower your costs, fine, but keep it in this area. I really believe the Laguna Woods, Laguna Hills, Aliso Viejo, Lake Forest, Rancho Santa Margarita, Mission Viejo. This area is heavily populated, 500,000 people. This is where the site, and to DMV's credit, this is where they located it in the first place 30 years ago. Let's keep it in this vicinity.
Laguna Hills City Council is also asking them to stay, right? So it's coming from all angles.
Many local city councils are writing letters to the governor. Yes.
How important is it kind of to have this unified voice around all of this?
Very important. You know what? It's bipartisan and bicameral, both Assembly and the State Senate. Who's opposed to this?
Right.
We want to serve the people. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely. So the decision can be put on hold.
We believe. I've not heard that officially.
Right. Okay. So there's a chance that maybe there's an extension, but people, again, go to the website, go call the offices, call the governor, make sure your voice is heard.
The property owner is willing to extend it at the current rate, and then let's move from there. But let's do not close it. The ask is do not close October 18th.
Okay, that's a good ask. End of legislation session happened, and about 1,000 bills went to the governor's office.
Well, I will give you the headline. I will be happy to come back to talk to your viewers because it was my first legislative session. So it was a 2-year session, ended August 31st at midnight, according to the Constitution. So in the last 2 weeks, these bills could have been moving forward weeks earlier.
Right. It's like end of semester for a student. All the work starts coming in.
Well, there was a convention in the middle of August. Half the legislature, half the other party went to Chicago. So everything came to a complete stop. That was about a week. So then it all gets crammed to the last week. Not only the last week, the last hour. And so the last hour, they were rushing through about 500 bills without debate.
Oh.
Yes. There was a special motion by the other party, because they have the majority, and they said we're cutting off debate. Debate under current rules is 5 minutes per bill. They brought it down to 30 seconds. Can't get much debate in 30 seconds.
Not a lot of debating going on.
So there are a lot of drama, a lot of important bills got through and didn't get through. And the bottom line is 1,000 bills are on the governor's desk for signature or veto, and if he does nothing, it becomes law.
Oh, yeah.
So if anybody follows any of these bills, it's important to write the governor on any bill that you are following. Any organizations follow many bills, and it's good to write the governor at this point in time. You may have been, these groups are very active during the legislative year. You hear from individuals and organizations. Now they have to continue to advocate for whatever their point of view is. The bills are on the governor's desk.
All right, well, Diane Dixon, Assembly member from the 72nd District, thank you so much for joining us, and great update, and hopefully we can get the DMV to stay open.
I hope so. I hope I can come back and say we did it.
We'll let you, especially if you do. We'll have you back for sure.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Good to be here. Thank you.
You're watching This Day. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to the program from Caring Senior Service, Dean White, the owner of the program, and welcome back to the show.
Thanks, man. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you. Your service, for folks who don't know what your basic service is, what is it? It's about caring for seniors where they live, right?
100%. We want every senior to be healthy, happy, and at home. Mm-hmm. And so for that to happen, often as we get older, arthritis sets in, mm-hmm. or we start forgetting. Mm-hmm. And it's nice to have somebody that can come in and help with your independence. Mm-hmm. So there's a number of things that a caregiver can do to help support somebody so that they can stay into their homes.
Yeah, you had a little bit of a list of some of the things that you guys do provide in the home, and it's extensive. It's a lot of stuff in there.
People are really surprised. It's not just that we can help somebody transfer from their bathroom to their bed, mm-hmm. and take care of their meds, but we can do like house cleaning, mm-hmm. we do laundry, we can go to the doctors. Often we will take a client to the doctor, take notes, and then send those notes to the family. Mm-hmm. Or mm-hmm. even if it's for the client, it's nice to have somebody taking notes, because sometimes we forget what the doctor said.
Right. Yeah, and that can be a challenge, exactly what's going on there. There's meal prep, there's companionship as well, because some people live out of state from their families, and they don't have that contact, and that isolation kind of sets in. So that companionship, that person that's there to bounce things off of and talk about their needs is really important, right?
It's really true. Just for mental health, especially, mm-hmm. we need interaction with other people.
Right.
And so when you have somebody that can come in, meet with you, spend time with you, have a meal with you, or take you to the park. Mm-hmm. It restores what life was just a short time ago.
And it also is a big peace of mind for family members, who are often the people who call you, right? It's not the senior who's calling you that says they need help. It's the family members say, hey, I think we need to get this for mom or dad in the house here, right?
It's really true. A lot of times, seniors often feel like, I'm independent, I can do it myself, mm-hmm. which they can.
I don't want a stranger in my house, I want my privacy. It's just, and that's a natural reaction, right?
Natural reaction. But once they discover that we bring in a caregiver that is more like a family member, mm-hmm. they discover how wonderful it is. And so, mm-hmm. case in point, we have a client named Lois, and her kids all live out of the area. Mm-hmm. And was in the very beginning, she's 95 years old, and she goes, you know what, I don't need anybody's help. Her house is immaculate, mm-hmm. and we brought Brittany in, and just to get peace of mind to the family members. And Brittany started just with 4 hours a day, uh-huh. And she helped Lois go to the grocery store. She helped Lois prepare a meal. She'd play cards with Lois, just some interaction. And then it was just it was destiny, because just a short time after that, Lois had a fall. Mm. And now she knows Brittany. Brittany's there for 8 hours a day. And she even, on the side, decided to do a Christmas time for Lois, and did a tree and gift and everything else, which really cheered her up, because she was depressed because of her fall that she mm-hmm. had. Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things that can be a challenge, or one of the things that all the question comes up front, is what are the costs? And yes. Now, how do you compare to like other services that kind of do in-house, right? Other services, a lot of times they're hourly.
Yeah, we're hourly as well.
Uh-huh.
It's good to know when you're starting to call around, mm-hmm. that you're going to see prices usually between $30 and $45 an hour. Sometimes they can go higher, and sometimes mm-hmm. they're even less. Some people will hire somebody from Facebook, for instance, mm-hmm. which is there's some really phenomenal caregivers, but they're not going to come insured.
Right.
And they're not going to come with a background check. Mm-hmm. And if they get mm-hmm. sick that day, then there's nobody to replace them.
Right.
And so if you're working with an agency, they're fully background checked, they're going to most likely have workers' comp or should, and then if they get sick or something happens, you don't like this person, you can swap it out with somebody else. The worst case scenario is that if you hire somebody independently and they slip and fall in your house, then they potentially sue you.
Right. Yeah. So those coming from Caring Senior Service, there's an assurance that those aren't going to be the challenges or issues around those things,
exactly.
right? Like those little pitfalls. Also, you guys do have kind of a flat rate as well, right?
Yeah. In fact, a lot of companies they want you to have a minimum per hour, so many hours a week, like 20 hours, or a minimum per shift. We have a flat fee and we don't have any minimum. So there's no service fee, there's no sign-up fee. And if the work gets harder, if somebody had a stroke during a time being and all of a sudden the work goes up, the price doesn't go up.
Okay.
It's one clean flat rate. And it's nice because I believe that there's a lot of senior abuse, and I stay far from it because it really upsets me. In fact, this one potential client called me and they said, Dean, how much do you charge to process long-term care? I said, no, if you're my client, it's free, it's what I do. They said, because our company just sent us a bill for $10,000.
Oh my goodness.
And I said, I don't know anybody in this industry that charges for that. And they said, sure enough, it was on their small print. And so I show everything up front. It's one flat fee, and you're not going to be even charged a mileage fee. If we go to the store for you and come back, or to the doctor, there's no mileage fee, no trip fee. It's just one flat for the hour. Yeah,
and that's a good reminder that there are some nefarious players out there in this community, and they are willing to take advantage of seniors who are isolated, who can't, aren't bouncing their decision off local family members. So be mindful of those things when you're looking into that, right?
It's really true. I come from a ministry background. I was one of the pastors at Saddleback for some time, and then I wanted to start a business where I got to blend business and ministry together. And so it's really, I feel like I hold my company just to a higher standard.
Yeah, and it's not about. And I want to get the sense from you is like it's about service. It's not it isn't the money first. It's the service first,
100%,
right?
100%.
Yeah, and that's an important part. But the money does come into play. So what are some ways that people kind of extend money in their senior years to provide these services for the folks in the house?
It's often the question I get, and people say, okay, Dean, is there other ways to pay for this? And the first one that comes up is if anybody has a long-term care policy. An important thing to know is that a long-term care policy...
That would be in someone's insurance or something like that?
That's right, right in their insurance. They had bought this some time ago. Now, it can be part of your life insurance, or they have just purchased a long-term care insurance policy. I have one on myself, and if you cannot do 2 of 6 regular daily activities, then you can get approved for your long-term care.
Okay.
Now, it's important to know that most of them have a 90-day elimination period. That means for the first 90 days, the insurance company wants to see that you're paying it, and then they'll take over. Just because in that 90 days, somebody may recover from a stroke or something.
Right, because some of those things can be temporary in terms of the challenges they're having, right?
That is exactly right, exactly right. But if it's hard to get to the bathroom or feed yourself or clothe yourself or take medications, those are a few of the items that long-term care then can start providing. So long-term care is the biggest one. Another one would be the Veterans Administration. If you were married to a vet or are a vet, there's a good chance that you have some good benefits coming to you. And it's easiest, instead of you going through the front door and asking, the VA, it's easiest if you just could call me and let my inside agent then, call in for you and try to set that up, because the VA pays actually better rates than a lot of companies, charge. Okay,
and also in that list of things, also there is, selling property, life insurance, things like that.
Yeah, people, there's a lot of more options. So obviously there's a reverse mortgage. You've heard about those, and you've had companies here at Laguna Woods that offer that. That could be an option. It also could be refinancing the house or selling a property.
Selling and downsizing, maybe they have 2 stories and they really aren't as mobile as they used to be, things like that?
Yes, exactly. Instead of retrofitting your house with everything that to make it 2 stories work, much better to downsize if it's better for them. And then the last thing, people don't realize they can often sell their life insurance, and we can help with that. And we've been able to sell somebody's life insurance and bring in as much money as they have put into it. And so it's really a win-win situation for the whole family.
So they can get that buyout and then they'd be able to finance that care for the longer term, right?
That's right. And also help their family members today versus wait for the future. Yeah.
When you talk to family members, what do you find is the biggest challenge or the biggest concern when they're talking about getting this service in for their mom or dad or whoever it might be?
I think the biggest thing is like what you mentioned earlier. I have a stranger coming into my house.
Right.
And so it's really important to me that I meet with the family and I try to do my very best to match the caregiver to that family member. And they need to know that if that isn't the right fit, I'm happy to bring in a different caregiver until we have a right fit. And then once they get the right fit, they realize, this is really nice. Not only is it nice for the client, but like you said earlier, that peace of mind is huge. And so the peace of mind for the family members, that is.
Right. And so when the family members are doing this, do you kind of walk them through the whole process? Or is it something you bring the everybody involved in, not only the person you're going to be doing the caretaking for, but the family? Is it a group thing, or do you split it up?
Yeah, usually I meet with the whole family together.
Okay.
But sometimes it starts with a phone call. And it's just simply a phone call and then some text messaging. I'm not a pressure person, so I'm not one to pressure somebody. And so I let somebody take time. And I've had people that I've spoken to one day, and 6 months later they call me. And they said, Dean, you met with us. We want to get started now. And sometimes we start just with 4 hours a week. And then we grow from that.
Right.
And it's better to start something in the process versus having a hospitalization.
Right,
and
or
the
there's a
hospital
fall
telling
and now
you
we have to have something.
You have to have somebody. And it's always better to get started sooner than later.
Do you find that it is that kind of like a 6 months later kind of thing? Is it those process of acceptance and getting over those barriers that can sometimes be the biggest challenge?
I would say that's probably the biggest challenge. And I would say that is probably 20% of people out there. There is some people that are looking for a caregiver and just haven't found the right one.
Okay.
That is the other one, is that they have been with other agencies or with other people. They feel bad to let this person go to find somebody who is a better fit. And I say it's your life. You need to really have the right partner next to you at all times.
Right, you want to be with somebody that's going to work for. Well, I appreciate you coming in, Dean White, owner of Caring Senior Service. As always, it can be a very life-changing experience for families and a lot of peace of mind as well. Thanks for joining us, Dean.
Thanks, Mike.
And thanks a lot, Dean. All right, we'll be right back. You're watching This Day on Village Television.
And welcome back to the show, folks. We have our Saturday movie for this evening featuring Ben Affleck and The Way Back, brought to you by Harvard Eye Associates. And then Monday on This Day, we have Amazing Hearing and Ceramic Slip Casting Club. Looking forward to seeing both of those interviews. Enjoy a wonderful weekend, my friends, and from all of us here at This Day, make yours a beautiful one.
Mama used to Mama used to Mama used to Mama used to